Hey, what's up everyone? So you might have seen my salt and pepper pork chop as well as my salt and pepper shrimp. So today I'm going to show you how to make my salt and pepper squid. And I do prepare my salt and pepper squid differently than my pork chop and my shrimp because squid has a little bit more of a delicate flavor. And I know you're going to like this one. So let's go. So right here I've got 2 pieces of squid. The total weight is about 450 grams of squid. And this is fresh squid, and you might have never seen it like this before. Usually the seafood markets will help you break it down. So I'm gonna show you how to prepare it. So the first thing I'm gonna do is just pop off the head, and you're gonna see the squid sack. And I just puncture the squid sack. It's a bit messy, but you can still clean it. And then I'm just gonna lay it down flat, the fins down, and I'm just gonna slice down the middle to reveal the insides. And just remove the inside. So chances are you might have never seen squid that way. That's because in Thailand, they catch squid up and down the coastline. So every so often, me and Don would drive down the coastlines of Thailand, and near the beaches or the roads near the beaches, usually there are places that sell squid. Fresh squid that is caught right off the coast of Thailand. And getting squid from a local market, which is just not far from where I live, is as fresh as it will ever get. So I just give it a quick wash, and I'm just gonna scrape off some of the membrane. And this purple skin here, I'm just going to peel it off. Very easy to peel off. Again, you might have never seen squid like this, because I'm sure your fishmonger would definitely take this off for you already. And then I'm just gonna tear off the fins. Just some extra meat. Right there like that. And to prepare the squid is actually quite simple. We need to cut in some marks into the flesh, and I'm just going to use my knife and just run it down like that. Make some marks up and down, making sure that you don't cut through the flesh. And then I'm just going to tilt it at an angle, and then I'm just going to do the same thing with my knife. You want to make this sort of a cross mark pattern. And what that will do is sort of tenderize the squid meat, as well as make it easier for it to hold on to the batter. And when it fries up, it's not gonna curl as much. So that's why this step is actually kind of important. Okay, and that's done. And then we just cut down the middle into 2 pieces. And then we just cut these into bite-sized chunks. And we do the same for the fins. And cut these into bite-sized chunks as well. Cut off the tentacles. And for the head, I just chop it in half. This way it's easier to take out the beak, which is a very hard shell. Wow! I didn't expect that. That was nasty. Surprised the hell out of me. And there you have it, all of our squid nicely cut up into bite-sized chunks and ready to be coated in a combination of flours for a nice crispy outer coating. But before we coat this, let's prepare the seasoning ingredients, which starts off with 5 cloves of garlic. I mean, seriously, everything should start off with 5 cloves of garlic. And we're just gonna chop these. We're not gonna make a fine mince, because the way that we're going to prepare this salt and pepper seasoning, we don't want to burn the garlic. And then for the chilies, I'm gonna leave it up to you on how many you want to use, okay? Because salt and pepper squid is not a spicy type of dish. Anyways, also gonna throw in some green chilies too, just for some color. But for me, I prefer a little bit of heat. So I'm just gonna chop it up, add it into my garlic because they're all gonna go in at the same time. And just about a quarter of a red onion. Don't need a lot. And we just dice up the onions. Add them into the mix. I'm just gonna add a quarter teaspoon of salt and a quarter teaspoon of ground white pepper. And finally, a quarter teaspoon of Chinese 5 spice powder. And you've just made yourself your seasoning mix for your salt and pepper squid. So we're gonna set it aside, and then we're gonna get to work on our flour mixture. So right here I have 3/4 cup of corn flour and 3/4 cup of rice flour. Rice flour, okay? Not glutinous rice flour, plain old rice flour. Because it has a nice, light, airy texture, which goes really well with the chewiness of the squid. Now, if you only have corn flour, go ahead and use corn flour. Don't worry about it. It's just food, so don't go out and buy something that you don't need extra. So you should use a lighter flour like corn flour, rice flour, tapioca flour, or potato starch. To this flour, I'm gonna add a quarter teaspoon of salt. And then you need a teaspoon of black pepper. I'm going to grind my own because it's got a much better, stronger taste. And to be honest, I prefer to control the coarseness of my black pepper because I want to see these little black peppers studded throughout the coating of the squid. Okay, so now I need an egg. Now for me, the egg is necessary because I want the egg yolk to provide a nice yellowish color to my salt and pepper squid. I don't like the color of the squid. There's no egg yolk because it looks like it's really, really white and just a little bit off-putting to me. But again, if you don't have any eggs, this is totally optional. But that's why I prefer to coat the squid in some egg so that it has a nice little yellowish color. So I'm just gonna drop the squid into the egg and cover everything up. If you need to add more flour to cover your squid, add it. So here's a secret to really tasty salt and pepper fried squid. You need to add a lot of flour, and I'm not kidding you, you need lots of flour. The only way for me to describe it the way it should look is that the outside of the squid has to look like powdered donuts. And that is my favorite comparison because I love powdered donuts. And if it looks like powdered donuts, this, my friends, is ready to be fried. All right, so it's time to cook. I'm gonna heat my oil to about 350 degrees Fahrenheit, and I'm gonna fry my squid in 2 batches. One important tip about frying is that you should never, ever overcrowd the oil. Each batch, I'm gonna cook it for about 2 to 3 minutes. Anything more than that, and you're gonna overcook your squid. How can you tell if your oil is hot enough for frying? Well, you can stick a wooden chopstick down the center, and if it immediately fizzes like that, then your oil is hot enough for frying. Time to put this bad boy together. Heat your pan to a low, medium heat. About 30 seconds later, add a teaspoon of oil. And throw in the seasoning. Mix and stir. Make sure that the garlic is not burning. This should take about 5 to 10 seconds. Throw in the fried squid. Throw in some spring onions and just give it a toss. I usually enjoy this with a nice bowl of hot rice, but you can just eat it alone and make it a meal in itself. This is one awesome dish. I hope you guys can try this out. But remember, I do make deliveries. I take Bitcoins and Camels as payment. So I'll see you all next time.